had to deliver on a promise. You know, if you didn't, one of the old phrases that nothing kills a great bad product like great advertising. And what's happening online is if you go out with a promise today, and say your brand stands for keeping you warm through this unique clothing device, and in fact it doesn't work because it flies off and the person wears, you're going to get caught faster. And one of the most famous stories was the kryptonite lock. Everyone heard about the kryptonite lock? Yeah, but that's just an example. There's a sleeping Comcast guy on your couch. Today, if your brand does not deliver on its promise, you're cooked faster than ever. That's another simple point that, all right, I have a product, I know it's different, I know it's relevant, but if you can't deliver today, you're in more and more trouble. So a lot of companies today are spending far more time on customer service. So if you go on to HP's site, Verizon, most of their branding efforts today are on making sure that what they promise is delivered on. Because they know that if they could have great ads for Verizon, they could have great products, but if they're not delivering on customer service and not delivering on their, what their basic offer is, over time the conversations online are going to overtake it. Another simple thing about digital that has been true about marketing for a long time is that word of mouth is becoming really important. It's all back to the future. It used to be that, the way you found out about products is you would sit on your couch and hold the remote, maybe with 3 options, and you would sit there and let people tell you about products and services. And for the last 40 years, that's the way people learned about things. They watched television ads, they read print ads. But in today's marketplace, we've gone sort of back to the future. And the way you used to find out about products and services, back in the Leave It to Beaver or earlier days, is you'd go to your backyard fence and you'd ask your neighbor, what do you think about this? What do you know about this? And what the digital world is allowing you to ask almost anybody their opinion on anything. And in a world where everyone's communicating over this virtual backyard fence, the brand messages that are sticking and being able to transmit are those simpler ones that are easy to remember. Because if I tell you 10 things about my product, and you say, yeah, I got it, but I can't remember any of it, and then if my neighbor asks me, why do you recommend this? And I go, I don't really know. That doesn't do half as well as if you have a very simple, sticky idea, which is causing a lot of companies, and I think I spoke to the HP folks for a long time, and HP used to be like every other technology company, where they would try to sell you their computers and their services by explaining the drive speeds and the memory and giving you all the facts. At the end of the day, all those things were changing very fast. And I said, well, to succeed actually in a digital world, we need to come up with a very simple notion about what the computer is and what is our philosophy on computers. And they went back and they said, gee, we looked at all the research and I said, gee, the computer is really a personal thing, right? They looked at everyone's laptop and said, your laptop screen is different than yours, and if your house was burning down, it's likely that you would run in first and maybe take your kids and your dog and your goldfish out. But pretty early on the list of things you take out of a burning house would be your computer, because on your computer would be the rest of your life, your pictures, your financials, your contact list. And they said, why don't we just build how we market computers around this notion of the computer as personal again. That doesn't mean that every ad you see from HP says the computer is personal again, but that is their unifying idea that ultimately when you interact with HP, they want to communicate that we understand the computer is personal and we're going to try to talk to you in a personal way. It's informed their customer service, and they've dramatically changed that. It's informed their communications, it's informed almost anything, their product development. As they look at things to do for HP, they look for ways to make it more personal and relevant to each audience. So, as you look at your brand, if you can get it simple and sticky, it's going to be easier to communicate in a world where word of mouth is really important. The final thing I'll talk about, and hopefully I'll take some questions,